Hey guys, today I've got Darwin Kastle's Cthulhu Realms, published up by TMG. So I guess what happened is that TMG got the rights to publish the Realms gameplay format for themselves, and so they took Star Realms and they slapped Cthulhu on the cover, because who doesn't like our benevolent overlord god of insanity? And he's just so snuggly and cute. So, all done in very comic book format art looking here. Yeah, so I told my friends at GenCan't, that went to GenCan't, anything that Rob Doherty is selling or has Darwin Kastle's name on it, grab it for me and I'll pay you back. So, here we have it, Cthulhu Realms. I've heard it's a lot of fun actually, so let's break into this and see what madness lies inside. So, break the shrink here. And take a look at the back quickly. Cthulhu Awakens. We have summon the unspeakable pals for a fun-filled romp through the sanity of the human race. In this deck-building game, card combos can be worth more than the sum of their parts, so draft carefully to unlock your deck's full potential. So we've got game design, Darwin Kastle, development, Rob Doherty, Michael Mendez, art, icons, graphic design. There we go. Lid is actually being a little stubborn here for a tiny little box. There we go. We have our rule book. So our card breakdown, ability, another ability, color and type icon, location, sanity value, a name, totally cool illustration, and the conjuring cost. So, take a look here. Components and setup, sanity markers. Oh, we got little markers to keep track of your sanity. Usually pay a therapist to do that. Okay. Just a little fold out here. The credits. Cthulhu Realms, a jagged and hectic misremembering of a game by Darwin Kastle. So I guess the original game concept and designs by Darwin Kastle, lead game development by Rob Doherty. So there we go, our list of playtesters. Yeah, so I guess his main involvement in this game was just the actual development and the design of Star Realms, and there we go. This is a cool thing for a drafting game multiplayer. This is actually pretty original. So if you're playing with more than 2 players, you actually have unique drafting rows here. So that's pretty cool. So if you're here, then you get to draft from these 2 sides. Abigail here only gets to draft from these 2 sides. And I guess as players get eliminated, then you just eliminate that drafting row and then combine down. So that's pretty nifty. That's really unique, and I think that will add some nice gameplay. So a lot of iconography in this game. You can see it looks like, just looking at the card setup here, there's not a lot of actual text explanation, which Star Realms has a lot of text. So trying to be language independent here. Let's take a look. Upgrade here from Star Realms. We have our sanity counter here, as opposed to those cards that you're supposed to keep track of your authority with. We have little cards to keep track of your sanity with these little chits here. So it looks like you have a different color for each player. Just get your little brains. You can keep track of them on your card. And then if you have more than allows on the card, then you get this little chip here. They're pretty small, so I can see you easily getting lost or getting these bumped off your card, so you might still want to just use some other tracking, either a scorekeeping app or pen and paper. But in a pinch, then you have this built in, which is a lot easier. So these little scorecards, keeping track of your sanity, you start from 50 and you can go a little bit up or all the way down to insane. And here we've got, looks like it's supposed to be a little cheat guide, help you remember all this iconography. So a little bit of text here to help you remember what you can do, different actions that you can do. Not too bad. I'm not sure what this card is. I'll have to... Shipping goods. Oh, this is for a different game, possibly? Is that a promo card? Oh, it is! It's a promo card! This is for the game The Wharfs. There we go. Okay. Not even for the game. Just blended in so well. Okay, onto the cards here. What they even got there? I'll add there on the side, of course. Can't have any box space wasted. Okay. Cute little, so the same art from the top of the box is on the back of the cards here. So off the top here we've got Waitley Farm. Looks like it's not doing so well lately. So this is a card that's going to cost you 4 conjuring, and it's a location here. This is a kind of location that this is going to protect a player. There's different types of locations. So anyway, this is the type that protects a player because there's a little dude inside. And the only other abilities it has are ally abilities. This one is if you have another purple card in play and you've abjured a card this turn, you get to draw a card. And then also, if you've abjured a card this turn, you get to deal 1 sanity damage. So there we go. A lot of iconography on these cards. But once you get used to them, it gets a little easier, but gosh, there's a whole lot. So here we have our MU medical staff. Yeah, looks like a credible medical professional here. Purple card is a dude. Costs you 5. He's going to do 2 sanity damage and gain you 4 sanity. That's a lot. And then again, if you have another purple card and you've abjured a card, you get to draw a card this turn. So this art is just too funny. So okay, we've got a couple of them. Not seeing anything on the card that's going to tell you how many of these there are as far as like a rarity is concerned. So some of these you're just going to have to grab if you really want them. You're not sure if there's going to be more of them if you don't know all the cards. So let's see. This one, Occultist, costs you 2. It looks like he's at the library, and the librarian is reminding him of the rules. Looks like he's got a few too many cultist books here. And he's only allowed 2. What a shame. So this card is going to gain you 2 trade or conjuring. And he's going to gain you 2 sanity. And then if you have purple card and abjure, you get to draw a card. So these purple cards seem to have a lot of draw so far. And a lot of gaining of sanity. A little bit, fair amount of damage being dealt. But a lot of that sanity gain. Okay, we've got 2 of that guy. Let's see, Wilbur Whately. This is goat fans. Oh boy. So that's a 7 cost card, you need 7 conjure to get him, but he does 6 damage. That's considerable. And if you have another purple card, you get to gain 2 sanity. And this symbol here is, because there's this little tiny blue arrow here, that means if you abjure this card, the blue arrow refers to this card. If you abjure it, which is like scrapping, then you get to do another 5 sanity damage. So this reminds me a lot of the Dreadnought, actually, with the 7 cost, some heavy damage, and you discard for a lot of extra damage there. But instead of drawing a card, you're getting some extra sanity back. Let's see. Because I am Mason, with their little rat buddy here. This almost looks like a Ratatouille reference. Is that a chef's hat? So here we're doing 3 damage, gaining 4, and then if you have another purple card, you get to acquire a card that's been abjured this turn. So far we haven't seen any cards that allow you to abjure, but when you abjure, it's like scrapping, removing from game, you can do that either to cards in your hand, cards in your discard pile, or cards out in the trade row. So you could choose to abjure a card that's out in the trade row that turn, and then use this card to go and acquire it and put it on top of your deck. So that's really powerful, this acquire ability here. That's a lot of power right there. So just one of him, which makes sense. So here we have a 3 cost, our Miskatonic University medical student. Questionable research materials on the shelves here. Looks like the ethics book is collecting cobwebs. Oops. So this card gives you 2 conjuring costs, gain you 4 sanity, and if you have another purple card, you get to do 2 damage. So that's a lot like the cutter, actually, this card. It's just a little more expensive, which I think the cutter should be in Star Realms. So this is going to be pretty, this card's going to do a lot of work for you. So again, that's the guy. Oh, we got two of them. We have a terrible old man. All sorts of little things going on in his bottles here. 7 cost, gain 5 sanity, do 4 damage, draw a card with purple card, and abjuring a card. Just a dude. Dean Halsey. 8 cost, is one of our big beefy. He's going to gain you a lot of sanity, and just without even having any ally abilities or any other conditions, you just acquire a card that's been abjured. That's a lot of power there. And if you have another purple card, you get to draw a card. So you could acquire a card that you've abjured from the center row and just put it on top of your deck and then go ahead and draw it this turn. So that's pretty crazy. Okay. We have our initiates. 2 cost, gain you 2 conjuring cost, or, so this little red black arrow here, that's and, or not and, or, it's or. It's either or. So either you have 2 conjuring or you do 1 damage. And if you scrap or you abjure it, you get to do another damage if you drop this one. So this is a lot like the Explorer. This is pretty much exactly an Explorer. And there's a bunch of these. You start with 2 of these in your deck, which is nice. So if you need to trigger some of these abjure abilities, like if you need to acquire a card that you've abjured, you go abjure this and just take it back to your hand for some reason. You just deal that extra damage. Or if you need to trigger the abjure here to get that draw, you can just go ahead and abjure your initiate to trigger that ability. So a bunch of these initiates here. So here we have our goons. These guys are free because they're a starter card. And they just do 1 damage. These are like our Vipers. Big, beefy, muscly, nasty Vipers hanging out in the streets of Arkham. So, a bunch of these. These are our starter cards. These followers always crack me up. Okay, so we have our little politician here. Cthulhu 23. 1923. Vote for Cthulhu. Starter card gives you 1 conjuring here. So you start with a bunch of these in your deck. And there's a whole bunch of these here. Alright, on to the next pack. In the second pack here. Okay, so here we have the next bunch of cards. This is the majority of our cards here. So all same back. Alright, so we have our Narcotic Fragment. So this is we haven't seen these before. This is an artifact. There's not too much that has to do with artifacts except for certain trigger abilities that require you have an artifact out. So that's pretty much the only reason why. Like here, you need an artifact in play this turn to trigger that ability. So artifacts don't have a whole lot to do, not as much as like the faction, the faction ability. But so this one pretty cheap, costs you 2. Gonna deal 3 sanity damage, and with another yellow card in play this turn, you get to choose a player to draw 1 card and discard 1 card. So there you have that one. The pages on these are all, this is notes from some sort of book here. Okay, so 2 of those. Brain Cylinder, another artifact. Again, going to cost you 2. Give you 3 trade, that's pretty good. 3 conjuring cost, whatever. If you have a location in play, then you get to deal 2 damage. Not bad. The art here, we've got his, the top of his head is sitting on the table with this radio that seems to be powered by his brain. There's something going on here. Okay, there's 3 of those. Quite a few. Alright, another artifact. The yellow faction here actually seems to have a lot of artifacts going on. This one costs 3. The King in Yellow, and it's Dr. Seuss! The King in Yellow is Dr. Seuss. Oh, look at little cute Cthulhu here. This little baby tushy. A little Lorax reference in the corner here. So this card is going to deal 5 damage if you have a location. Just for being the card, you get to cause someone to discard a card. And if you abjure this card, you can draw a card. Nice little utility there. So 2 of those. The yellow sign. Caution, mines may be slippery when open. Looks like someone else had experience with the brain cylinder here. Yeah, losing the top of their heads. So, you know. So it's going to give us 2 conjuring, let you draw a card with another yellow card, and you can abjure this card to cause someone to discard a card. And sometimes discarding a card is a condition for other abilities. So we have 3 of those. Okay, the Book of Ibon, another artifact here. So it's going to cost you 4, going to do 3 damage. Again, choose a player to draw and discard a card, probably yourself. And then if you have both a yellow card and a location card, you get to draw a card. So I'm assuming if you have a yellow location, that would count for both requirements here. The excruciatingly detailed handbook, something overpowered, maybe wizard here. That's 34th edition. I think these are role-playing books here. And these are D&D books here. Yeah, duper advanced wizards and labyrinths. Oh, the flavor on these in this art is just too hilarious. Okay, so we have 2 of these. More artifacts, the Book of Iad. So a lot of books, king in yellow, a lot of pages and books here with this yellow faction. Here's a hefty one. This one's going to cost you 7, and another yellow card is going to let you deal 6 damage. You only start with 50, so that's more than 10%. You get to draw and discard a card. So to clarify, this means you have to cause the same player to draw and discard a card. You can't choose yourself to draw a card and then choose someone else to discard a card. It has to be the same player that does this. And again, if you want to abjure this card, you can abjure this card to draw another card yourself. Whatever story he's telling, these kids do not seem to like it. Okay, we've actually got a couple of those. Alright, another 7 cost book, the Necronomicon. Looks like a cookbook. I got a little rolling pin. Looks like we made a little pie here, little tentacle pie. Here we go. Just deals 5 damage, and with another yellow card, draw 2 and discard 1. So that's a lot, and if you've played any other deck building game with drafting, you know that just drawing cards is really powerful. Just getting as many cards from your deck into your hand each turn that you can is super powerful. So this card really earns its 7 cost here, I think. So we've got 2 of those. Again, I wish there was a way you could tell the rarity of these cards, especially for a drafting game. You kind of want to get an idea of how many there are available in the deck. Okay, Miskatonic Library. So here we have a location, a yellow location, and this one protects a player. So you can't do any damage to a player until you first deal enough damage in a single round to destroy this location. So this one's going to cost you 4, and every turn without any triggers is going to allow you to draw 2 and discard 2. So you can really cycle through your deck there. Reminds me a lot of the recycling station if you play Star Realms. Even the same 4 cost, same yellow faction, so there you have it. The recycling station at Miskatonic Library. see. City of Nakotis. 6-drop, or 6 cost rather. You're going to do 3 damage, and with another yellow card, you're going to do 2 more damage. That's a hefty location to have up. And it's going to take 4 to break through, and it's protecting a player again. Miskatonic Hospital. Bedside manner seems a little questionable here at Miskatonic Hospital. This is going to cost you 5, and if you have another location out, you're going to be doing 5 damage every turn that this location is out. So this location is just a location, it's just going to stay out in front of you until it gets destroyed in between turns. But your opponent's really going to want to get rid of this, because if you've got more than one, that's just 5 damage every round. So that's a powerful location, you're going to want to get rid of that. Here's the king in yellow, the unspeakable one in his little yellow robes here. Let's see, what does that say? Guest list. Gosh, I thought it was on the guest list. You know, can't really, say his name. How can you put it on the list? It's going to cost you 8, but it's going to do 7 damage for nothing there. If you have a location up, you're going to draw a card. And if you abjure this card, pow, another 6 damage. Wow. Miskatonic University, another 8 cost here. These seem to be going up in cost as we get down through here. If you've played another dude this turn, you can do 2 damage. If you have an artifact in play this turn, you get 3 damage. And if you have one of each, another 3 damage. Because that can add up really quickly. And this is a location that's going to take 6 to bust through. So that's a lot of damage just for sitting out there. Great. Now we get into our green cards. Here we've got our location relay, and appropriately we have these twisted road signs, kind of an MC Escher staircase going on here. And so this is a location, takes 5 to pop, but it protects a player, so you can't attack the player directly until you destroy this location first. That's going to cost you 5, and it lets you draw a card if a discard happens. So that's a decent little card. The ruins here, we've got a cute little kitty cat, CTHULHU going on. That's pretty cute and fun. So it protects a player, costs you 3, and lets you abjure a card if a discard happens. So there we go, another location. Okay, another Whately Farm. We saw that one at the top of the last pack, so we've seen this card before. Another purple card, Catacomb. Location protects the player, costs you 6, gives you 3 trade, and this location lets you destroy another location if you abjure this card. So if you scrap this card from in front of you, it's out of the game and you get to destroy another location. So that's pretty useful. High House in the Mist, location that just stays out. It doesn't protect anyone. You could attack a player over it or another location over this one. But you probably want to get rid of it because it's going to let them abjure and make you discard a card every turn if they make these faction abilities here. And this one's actually a cross faction. This is a green card if you played a green card. So that's pretty cool. Something we haven't seen before, I think, and that definitely doesn't happen in Star Realms. And it's going to cost you 6. Arkham Sanitarium. 3 location, pretty cheap location, costs you 4. Wow, okay, this one gives you 2 trade or lets you gain 2 health. And if you abjure this, you can do 5 damage. Not bad there. There's 2 of those. Another CTHULHU Ruins. I wonder why these are all mixed up. Another relay. Here we have Kingsport Harbor. So, 4 cost. If you abjured a card, you get 3 trade, or you can gain 5 health. This location for 5. We have the box with the bass, or Horrors of the Deep. You never know what you're going to find at Kingsport Harbor. And 2 of those. Into Arkham City. This is an interesting location. This location actually protects other locations. So before you can blow up, say, Kingsport Harbor here, you have to take care of Arkham City first. Or if, say, they've got another location that protects a player, you're going to first have to blow up Arkham City, and then blow up Relay in order to do any damage to the player. So it's got 3 trade, deals 1 damage, and you can abjure this to gain 3 extra trade. But that's pretty powerful. If they're playing a lot of locations, protecting those locations with 5 is pretty big. So a lot of these cards, we haven't seen a lot of, not too many really big damagers, you know. So there's a couple of those. And here's the Shadow of Cthulhu, which is apparently just shadow cast by whatever junk is on your desk. But it's taking over the world! This is an 8 cost. Wow, this lets you just blow up a location for nothing, just for being there. Lets you abjure a card, and faction ability with green and a discard lets you draw 2 cards. And that 2 cards, that's huge in a drafting game, in a deck building game. Because you want to go through your deck as often as you can and get as many of those cards out as you can to make as many of these ally abilities happen. That's huge. But it's Cthulhu, so what do you expect from Cthulhu? Here's the younger Whately brother. 6 cost, 5 damage. And here we let this card, holy cow. If you ally with green, it lets you abjure a card, and also lets you acquire a card that was abjured this turn. So again, allied with green, if another green card is out. That's huge. Now you can't abjure a card that costs more than 6, so you wouldn't be able to just grab the Shadow of Cthulhu for free, because that costs 8. But if it costs 6 or less, you can abjure it from the trade row, and then just acquire it to your hand. That's a great card. That's a really great card there. We got a Dagon, 5 cost, Dagon number 1. It's got a little lighter. It's got a fan club. 3 damage lets you abjure a card. So it looks like the green here is, we've got a lot of our monsters going on that are letting you abjure cards. And again, in a deck builder, thinning out your deck and getting the cards you want by abjuring from the trade row and acquiring them. Or just cycling through that trade row until you get the cards that you do want. That's all really important. So you want to thin out those starter cards as fast as you can, and so it looks like the green faction here is really going to do that for you. And here, another hefty amount of damage and more draw with its faction ability. So each of these cards has, a ton of abilities going on with them. There's most of them have 3 different things that they do, so there's a lot. Each of these cards does a whole lot. So if you can thin out those basic cards to get to the meatier cards, it's a big deal. Again, you can abjure a card. This one's just for nothing. Ally ability to do a damage, and just for itself does 2 damage. And it's only a 2 card. It costs 2, so that's a pretty cheap, really useful card. Got 3 of them too, so that's good. We have Amigo. Costs you 3, does 4 damage. Another 2 damage with an ally ability, and if you abjure this card you get 3 trade. Can you say ram? Blob ram here? Yeah, that's what this is exactly. Okay, Yithian, cost you 3, gonna give you 2 trade, abjure, and does the damage with the ally ability. 3 of these guys. Nyarlathotep, 4 cost, does 4 damage, a ton of abjuring going on here. That's great. A lot of utility there. The deep ones. 4 cost, give you 3 trade, or, here's that or symbol, either or, 4 damage, that's a bit, and abjuring. These deep ones, they went fishing for sandwiches. Does not seem impressed. Cute. A couple of those. We have our Ghast. Costs you 4. Good amount of damage here. And location destruction. he's so pasty. He's SPF 5000 there. Couple of those guys. And here we have last card here, the Hunting Horror. 4 cost is 4 damage and abjure. And ally ability gets you 2 more conjuring. So there you have it. That is CTHULHU Realms. Those are all the cards in CTHULHU Realms. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, then let me know with a little thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to playing this game. You know, a huge Star Realms fan, and I think TMG knew what they were doing when they grabbed Darwin Castle's name to stick on the top of every card here. So, looking forward to that. Getting a little insane and a lot of fun with the theme here. So, let me know what you think of this game. Especially curious how you think the iconography, is that a plus or minus for you? You know, personally, you know, memorizing all this iconography is just another language, so I don't know why you wouldn't just put the words right there, but maybe you like it better than just good old reading. And so, if you want to get alerted to when I do more unboxing videos, then go ahead and click on subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.